Hey guys, welcome to the True Blue Riffcast with your hosts, Jeremy and Dave. My name is Christine DeBelle, but many of you know me as Susan from A Talking Cat. And as you know, I have to go and get my cheese puffs out of the oven. So have a great time with Jeremy and Dave. See you soon.
We are coming in right here on the podcast version. Welcome to the podcast version of the True Blue Riffcast. Everybody, I'm Dave, the number one RiffTrax podcaster and fan in the world, and I'm joined as always by...
Yeah, I'm Jeremy. I'm the other number one RiffTrax podcaster and fan. And our little intro song here was actually from the new release from RiffTrax, Fa La La La, it's called. You can head over to RiffTrax.com and go click on music under catalog and it'll show up. And it is a few tracks. Some of them we've already had. Here Come the Ice Cream Bunny is one of them, which we had the instrumental version of that. A Feeder's Christmas is on there. Apocalypse Christmas that Bill did. Was that last year or the year before? Dave,
it's so big now I can't keep it in my head anymore.
There's a song about what happens after It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. I listened to that today. Yeah.
There's an instrumental version of Let's Have a Patrick Swayze Christmas from the old days. And probably the best thing, they included the dramatic reading that Mike did of Santa's Christmas Circus featuring Wizzle the Clown.
Wizzle the Clown.
Which was such a fun listen.
Oh my goodness. I have that to worry about because, dude, Mike is he's such a treasure. And I wish someone would write a Mike's biography, call it Mike Nelson. Like, get that woman who wrote Orson Welles' biography. And hopefully Mike won't go on Merv Griffin to promote it and then have a heart attack 15 minutes after the show ends and die. Hopefully that won't happen.
We watched the Garfield Thanksgiving special tonight with dinner. The kids wanted to watch it. And there's a scene in there
There's a Thanksgiving one?
Oh, yeah. From the old animated days. There's a scene where Garfield gets on the scale in the bathroom because he went to the vets and Liz put him on a diet, and she also agreed to go out on a date with John, and he said he would cook her Thanksgiving dinner, which of course didn't go right, but he stood on the scale, and it was a talking scale, and it was like, I can tell you your weight, I can tell you the weather, I can tell you anything that you want to know. And he said, well, what's my name then? And the scale's like, well, judging from your weight, you are Orson Welles. I've seen every one of your movies, Mr. Wells. I've watched Citizen Kane 8 times.
French.
Oh, that lovely wine commercial. So yeah, that's that. I think that's yes. You had an interesting interaction earlier today, didn't you?
Oh yeah. So as everyone knows, for like the last 6 months since I, departed my previous employment, I have been self-employed using a rideshare app. I've decided that I will no longer use the name of the rideshare app here on the True Blue Riffcast, even though you can go back to the archives and hear me say it, because I don't know if I'm like violating any terms of service. And quite frankly, I like to make money. So, we'll just go ahead and that. But it rhymes with goober. So I'm, I get out a little bit earlier. I like to get out between 4 a.m. and 5, sometimes a little bit later, but like no later than like 6, and work, until I make my daily minimum. Not going to say what that is, but it's more money than I've made at my previous jobs. And that means, you got to take all kinds of rides, and you never know what kind of person you're going to get. Sometimes they're talkers, which is fine. But like my rule is like, well, I don't have a rule. Like if I had rules for writers, they would be fun and flirty. Don't bring your dog, for crying out loud. I don't care. You didn't disclose you were bringing your dog. I'm very annoyed. Of course you can bring him in. It's not like I'm going to turn you away, but I am very annoyed that you brought your dog. I made a whole list of humorous rules, but there are rules. But like one of the rules that I have in my mind is like, okay, if you're going to talk, be interesting. But if you can't be interesting, don't be dumb. Okay. So like, anyway, so my first ride of the day, you get in. Now I have Final Fantasy music that I play like softly in the car. And normally people don't recognize it. This guy did.
Normally.
He recognized it immediately. He's like, and then all of a sudden I'm just pulling out of like, he's at some apartment in this unnamed city in Utah that Connor Stoka can't pronounce. Narrow it down.
Listen to 372 pages, guys.
Yeah, that's a 372 pages reference. And he's like, immediately, like, I'm pulling out of this parking lot of this apartments that he lives in, and he's like, oh my gosh, is this Final Fantasy music? And I'm like, oh no, we got to talk her. Okay, no, it's fine, I'll talk to him. It's great. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, this is the Final Fantasy IV soundtrack from '92. He's like, oh my gosh, are you a gamer? And I was like, oh God, I don't want to get sucked into a gamer conversation with this guy, but he drags me in. Like, I can't not be polite and answer this guy's questions. One thing you'll find out as a rideshare driver is that the people who want to talk to you, they like want to experience the like part of the Uber experience. Oops, boop. Welcome back to the edit. Part of the rideshare experience is like hearing like parts of like lore of like the driver's life. You have to like entertain them, like, so you have to like be prepared with like some interesting facts about yourself, and like, and sometimes you may have to make some stuff up, but I don't know. But this guy, he wanted to know all about like my gaming life, and he wanted to know like all like who like what kind of games I like to play, how long I've been playing games. Like we started talking about Final Fantasy, and he wanted me to rank all the Final Fantasies. It's just okay, I will have this kind of conversation like with my friend Jeremy, or my friend Edgy Berserker, or my friend Al Creed, but like, I don't want to get grilled by some stranger because I don't know where he's going to land on like these very specific entries in the Final Fantasy series. If I say the wrong one, oh my God. Like if I say that like I like Final Fantasy VIII the best, which I don't, but if I do and he doesn't, if he likes Final Fantasy VIII or doesn't like it, that situation could turn volatile very quickly.
That's a 1-star rating right there.
Yeah. So
and no tip.
Eventually we get around to talking about Mario. Okay. And he just gets real excited. Like, oh man, how many times did you see that movie? And of course I assume he means the 2023 animated movie, Super Mario Brothers, or the Super Mario Brothers movie. What is it called? What is the official title?
Super Mario Brothers, the movie, I think.
Super Mario Brothers, the movie, whatever, like the animated one. And I was like, yeah, I saw it once. and he flips out and starts questioning my Mario fan cred because I only saw it. Like, how could you only see that movie once in the theater? I saw it like 4 times. And I was like, you saw it 4 times in the theater? Why? I'm not saying it's a bad movie. It's okay. But like, you know, I'm not going to go see it 4 times. I saw it like with my brother's family.
Yeah.
But it was, and this went on for 20 minutes, like this, like this kind of conversation. And it's like first thing, it's got to be like 4 or 5 in the morning. I don't remember what time I went out, but it's very early in the morning. It is before 6 a.m. And I'm getting grilled on my gamer cred, my favorite, like it was a very uncomfortable situation, and I couldn't wait to get him out of the car.
Yeah, that's too early for that type of thing. Dave, he wasn't wearing a fedora, was he?
No, he wasn't.
Okay. So at least there's that.
He was not. Oh, what movie was it that we said was the nice guy equivalent of nice guy movies? It was recently. It was something that we talked about.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
That one. I don't know.
Like, what
I
are some of the ones
we
talked about?
Was it a riff, or was it just a regular movie?
It was a regular like riffed movie. It was something that like it didn't feel like a real movie. Maybe it was Samson and Delilah. No, I wouldn't say that about that movie. No. We'll figure it out. We'll have to go back and figure it out.
Eventually, we'll figure that out.
Eventually, we'll figure it out. We will remember what we've said on this podcast before. But speaking of things we've done on this podcast before, how about we do some Name That Jeremy?
Yeah, it's my turn to do bad.
All right, you are in the hot seat, sir. I think these are some really good ones. I got to put my peepers on. Oh, look at that.
Got to put your eyes on.
So I can read from, because I wrote it in a notebook. Physical media. You know, like when my subscription to Amazon HBO Prime Plus ends, I will still have this notebook. I don't know what any of that means. But, okay. Are you ready, sir? It's time for Name That Jeremy.
Ready as I'm going to be.
Where we quiz Jeremy. When I do it, it's Dave That Riff. When Jeremy does it, it's Name That Jeremy.
Yep.
That's what we've decided this game is, because it needed 2 titles. So what happens here, this is the first
Citizen
time
Yard
that
said you're going analog with it.
That's true. I am going analog. Thanks for being here, Citizen Yarn. So I'm going to quiz Jeremy on quotes or riffs from previous riffs, going from 2006 to present, and he gets 2 tries to figure out which quote or riff that whatever RiffTrax release it came from.
Right as an ad break starts.
Yeah. Oh, is an ad break starting?
An ad break just started.
Okay. Well, we'll vamp until it's over.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, what are you drinking, Jeremy? Let me know when the ad break's over.
I have Dr. Pepper Zero.
Coke Zero. The zeros.
It's got non-nutritive sweetener, which is about the only thing I can have in a drink, so it doesn't change my blood sugar at all.
Are you diabetic?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
I was
didn't know
diagnosed with diabetes. When was that? That was in the springtime, I think.
Oh.
Whenever the last time I went to the doctor.
I feel like.
But
you
it doesn't
told me
matter
this,
now
but it
because
was-
I don't have health insurance anymore. Hooray for the American healthcare system. Yeah, because I don't have it now, and if I get it through my work, it is not cheap. Like,
okay,
to the point where it might not be worth getting it through my employer.
I haven't had health insurance in 14 years. I figure if I get sick, I'll just die. It's fine.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at too at this point.
I'll just expire. It's okay. Is the ad break over?
Yeah, it's got
health
20
insurance and our
seconds. It's
death.
got 20 seconds. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good way to vamp.
Very
Let's, talk
macabre.
about dying and you ever think about
Dance
dying?
macabre, as Stephen King says. Read any good books lately?
Yeah. I thought I just had it sitting over here. I finally read Dumb Dumb Dumb. The Mary Jo Peele
never even
book.
heard of that.
It's a book Mary Jo Peele put out last year or the year before about her mom and different experiences with her mom. Her mom used to write little reviews of things and places and movies down on little note cards and just put them away, and she found them, I guess, after she passed. And so she kind of goes in between the note cards and what they were about, and then something in the past that, some thing with her and her mom. And it was really good. It was funny. It was
it poignant?
Kind of heart-wrenching. There were some very sad parts. But yeah, it was very, very well written.
Okay. All right. So is the ad break over?
Yeah, I think we're done vamping now.
All right. So we're done vamping, and now we're into Name That Jeremy. Okay. So here we go. Here's number one. It's from 2017.
Okay.
And it's from a VOD. You're like Grima Wormtongue in a miniskirt.
I'm guessing that was a riff.
Yes. That was Kevin, if it helps.
Is this one that we've done a riff from before?
That's not one of the clues, sir.
2017. 2017, people in a miniskirt. 2017. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw something out there. I'll say Ator, the fighting eagle.
That is incorrect, sir.
Okay, I figured it would be.
First clue?
Yes.
Okay, first clue. This movie is an unofficial sequel to two different RiffTrax movies.
What? Unofficial sequel to
Say
two
it
different
again.
RiffTrax movies.
This is an unofficial sequel to two different RiffTrax movies. It's really more of like a sideways sequel for one of them, but it's an unofficial sequel for another.
Oh, man. A sideways sequel for... What the hell? I think that confused me more than anything else.
I thought it would have given it away, but it's not a judgment. Well, it kind of is, but whatever.
I don't know. I got nothing. I'll just say Replica. Because
no, it's
James
not
Wan
Replica.
movies.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Okay, cool. So
What's the last clue?
Second clue is this is the second RiffTrax movie to be filmed at Pirates World.
And it came out. Wonderful Land of Oz.
That is the Wonderful Land of Oz. That is correct, but
Duh.
So all right, so
I forgot that was 2017 for a second.
Okay. All right, cool. So this next one is an MP3 from 2007. Okay. So we're going back in time a little bit. And this one might be a little bit easier. Sir, we've lost all contact with Captain Kirk and Dr. McCoy. To which Mike riffs, I know, it's great, huh?
Okay, well, oh God, what is it? Is that, did they do Undiscovered Country? Is that Undiscovered Country? I know it's one of the Star Treks, but I'm going to say Undiscovered Country. Yeah.
It is Star Trek 6 Undiscovered Country.
Okay.
Good job. The clues for that was this is one of two Star Trek movies directed by Nicholas Meyer, and both of those movies were riffed, which is The Wrath of Khan and Star Trek to the Undiscovered Country. And the second clue is this is the last Star Trek movie to focus on Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. Okay. All right, cool. So you're 1 for you're 1 for 2. You're 50%.
Woo.
And last one.
I at least got one right. I wasn't sure about that tonight.
This one is a VOD from 2017. You lily-livered punk. I'm running this camping trip.
Star Games.
Incorrect, sir.
That's the only one I can remember with camping in it.
Okay. First clue. This was one of the movies that featured the infamous 2017 Bear Run.
Grizzly.
Incorrect, sir.
Oh my God! So it's Day of the Animals. Okay. It wasn't Star Games. It wasn't Grizzly. It's Day of the Animals.
Second clue is Leslie Nielsen with his shirt off, and yes, that is Day of the Animals. I mean, with Grizzly, I mean, like you had like a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
Between Grizzly and Day of the Animals.
That's what I was thinking.
So
it was a flip of the coin. I just flipped it the wrong way.
But that was Leslie Nielsen that said that line. You lily-livered punk. I'm running this camping trip. It's after he smacked someone in the backpack in a rainstorm, and he just fell down like, my backpack. You felled me, sir.
Yeah. But before we get into our other regularly scheduled things here that we talk about, like seeing what the hell James Wan is up to and our weekend box office, we got one other thing that I want to talk about real quick.
Okay.
Because this might be a death knell for something.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. We were talking, of course, about the crowdfunding for Mystery Science Theater season 14.
Jeremy,
for some reason, started at the beginning of it was during the actor strike, so nobody could promote this. Like, that was not smart in and of itself. There's 4 days left. It is at 40% right now.
How much
of the goal to make just the 6 features and 6 shorts? So it needs to make
of its first level.
Of the first level, it's at 40% of the first level, not 40% of the whole overall goal. 40% of the first level. It has $1.9 million out of the $4.8 million goal for the first level of funding.
I think we need because Jeremy and I have talked about this obviously offline, and I think it's important to point out that we're not. I know on this podcast we're not fans of the revival.
Yeah,
but I think it's also important for us to point out that we're not gloating about this. This is not something that we're happy about. This is bad. It's kind of bad. I also think it kind of needs to be a wake up call for some people.
I think it will be. There's not really any way that it couldn't be, because there's just a few things around this that are just like it's bad timing when they started it, first of all. The other thing is a lot of people are getting tired of being the people who fund these seasons.
Yes, I think
it's too much. It's too much that they're asking of people. Like, they have not paid for any of the episodes of the revival at all.
No.
Netflix covered the cost for the first 2 seasons. And then the fans paid for...
I think it was only for season 2, wasn't it? Wasn't it just
3.
season... Or, yeah, like the fans covered season 1. That was the first initial Kickstarter that got $6 million back in 2015.
You're right. There was that.
And then Netflix covered
the gauntlet.
Like an abbreviated season in what was it, like 2018? Something like that?
Yeah, and then the fans paid for season 13, in which they were told that the funding from 13, most of that was to be making their streaming app, the Gizmoplex.
Making their app, the Gizmoplex.
And it was promised during that round of fundraising that this was going to be it for fundraising, because the Gizmoplex was going to be the thing that generated the revenue that's going to be enough for them to make whatever they want after that. Obviously, that didn't happen. And I think people are just sick of it. I mean, there's 11,000 contributors right now.
That's
and
way.
they're
That's
they're
not. That's.
they have 60% left to go in 4 days. Now they are going to have like the MST Turkey Day Marathon thing, I guess, is what's supposed to be like the final like push for fundraising, and that might get them close. But I honestly don't know if they're going to make it
to even their first level.
I don't think they're going to make it to even their first level. I think if they do, they're going to be lucky. And now they've announced like the first 3 movies that they plan on doing, and they expected the third one to give them a big push on the crowdfunding. The third one was Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Okay, let me tell you why that doesn't make sense, because that movie is free. That movie is public domain. You don't need to crowdfund to riff that movie. You don't.
Like, that's all they had to do was, honestly, they could make a 6-season thing or 6-episode season and just do 6 movies that are public domain.
Public domain movies. Well, okay.
And then charge
Jeremy,
people for them through the
that.
Gizmoplex, and there you go. There's your funds for everything.
But I can't say anything else without being extraordinarily mean or sounding that way.
Yeah.
But it's not about that. And I don't think it ever has been, as far as the revival goes. I think it's about, like, I think that the and this is just me doing, like, me being in this fan world for as long as I have been. I think that, like, number one, it's like you said, I think certain people, the fans, are getting tired of funding this escapade.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's been 8 years. The fan base hasn't grown. But also I think that, it got canceled, I guess, from Netflix. But I think that Joel doesn't realize that Mystery Science Theater isn't the cultural phenomenon that it was 30 years ago. I don't think he realizes that it doesn't have the popular culture reach that it did when he was on the show.
Yeah.
This has become what Mike Nelson and crew have done at RiffTrax, is that they have focused in on a specific audience, the specific audience that wants this, and they cater to that. I mean, as much as I love RiffTrax and I want it to be considered its own thing, it's essentially an MST3K legacy project, and it
absolutely
works. But I've said this before, we are an aging fan base, and we're not getting a whole lot of new fans coming to and wanting this product. Between Joel wanting to, like, produce this on a mass scale the way that he is, like, millions and millions and millions of dollars. I mean, these episodes are insanely expensive to make them the way that he wants to make them. You need to have some kind of monetary return to match that millions that you put into it, and that simply isn't coming anymore.
Yeah.
So it's just, as David Lynch would say, it's such a sadness what has happened. And it's like, I don't know, it's like there's really nothing we can do but just kind of, like, sit back and be like, I don't enjoy seeing this happen to them.
No.
I don't. I really don't. But I mean, if it takes this kind of a failure, and that's what it is, failure to, because, like, they set the bar. No one else set that bar. Nobody said we need, like, the fans didn't say we will give you $7 million to make 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a bar that was set by Joel. Okay. You don't like, we don't have $7 million to give you every 2 years. I mean, maybe we do, but I think that at some point, you know, you're going to have to come down to earth and realize what this thing is now, and that it's basically a nostalgia property, and you need to treat it like a nostalgia property. The audience is not what it is. This audience is not what it used to be.
No.
You know, the audience, yeah. So I like, and I don't know what else to say about it, really. You know, I'm not happy that this is happening, but I don't think it's a good thing. But I mean, I think it's going to be a wake up call. I think, or at least it should be.
Yeah.
If it's not, then I don't know where that brand goes from here.
If it even makes it to their first goal to make the 6 episodes, I think that's going to be it for a while. Like,
and it should be.
I think that's going to be it. And yeah, because yeah, like you said, there's not really much more to say without starting to sound mean, and that's not where we're coming from on this. And we don't
that's
want
not
it
like,
to
you know,
come
and
off
then
that way.
like it's going to sound like we're attacking like the fans of it, and we're not. We don't have a problem with other Misties, because essentially that's what we all are. But we talk about RiffTrax here, and this is related, of course, because RiffTrax is an MST3K legacy project, but at its core. But at the same time, you look at how RiffTrax has been successful. Like, we're in like 18 seasons, so many, like 500 plus movies. So big we can't even fit it in our heads anymore. Like all of it, you know. Like, I updated the wiki today, and I'm probably gonna have to I have like a page that says list of official feature length RiffTrax. I'm probably gonna have to cut that in half, because like it takes so long to load like the code for the listing. I'm probably have to split it in two, like, you know, like seasons 1 through 10, and then seasons 11 through 18. Like there's so much of it. It's so prolific. MST could be that if it wanted to be, if it just adjusted.
It could easily be
but
that.
I think I think, you know, they want to have the puppets, which I understand. I think there's a way to maintain. I don't know if there's a way to maintain the puppet show aspect of it and keep it alive. I don't know if there's a way. I'm not saying that, like, by me saying I don't know if there's a way, that there is no way. I don't know how you would be able to keep the puppet show and have it be financially successful. If there is
the only way you could
I don't
keep
know
it,
what it is.
So you could keep it as a puppet show at this point, and it would be to honestly use CG. Use CG in the corner. You'd have some base animations that you just stick in there. You know, you just have to edit it in.
And I'm going to say something that just came to me. And I know people aren't going to like it. But you could keep the puppet show aspect of MST3K and keep it going. But you're going to have to pay your actors a lot less, which means you're not going to be able to have union actors.
Yeah,
you're going to have to ditch SAG.
Yeah.
Like,
and I know nobody wants to do that.
You're going to have to find some. You're going to have to find some hungry also non-union writers. Like, you have to go back to your roots. You have to make it small town again. You cannot produce that show in LA.
Yeah. And that's
you cannot have Hollywood
that's another
writers
part
and
of the
Hollywood
problem.
actors doing it.
They're trying to make it too big, I think.
And you certainly can't have Jerry Seinfeld and Will Wheaton and O.J. Simpson and whoever the hell else you want come and guest star on your show.
Yeah. Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've.
Yeah, I think we
have.
Yeah. Anyway, Top Gun.
Let's take a look at the weekend box office.
Oh yeah.
The number one movie, a new release last week, The Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Trolls Band Together, another new movie, in number 2. In the number 3 spot, another new movie, Thanksgiving. That's the new Eli Roth horror movie. Then at number 4, The Marvels, and at number 5, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Is something going on with Stephen King and the Marvels? What's going on there? Is that something we don't want to talk about?
Was Stephen King and the Marvels?
Apparently, Stephen King got on Twitter or X and was like, he said something incredibly stupid. He said, I don't like the Marvel movies, but I'm going to defend the Marvels against people who are talking bad about it. And it's just like,
I can tell you the reason for that too.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, okay, but the thing is, he started to be like, I don't watch these movies, I don't like them, but let me defend them, and it's just like, okay, I get it if you don't like what people are saying for the reasons that they're saying them, or your perceived reasons for saying them. I get that, but you don't start it off by saying I don't enjoy these movies.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's very strange. It's a very strange way to do that, Steve. Like. Yeah. If you're going to defend a movie, don't say you don't like it.
I did watch it last Thursday, and
how was it?
I liked it. It was a very enjoyable movie. A lot of people are just crapping all over it for the same reason that they were crapping all over, Star Wars Episode 8 and Captain Marvel when that came out, and it's those guys.
Okay.
Because the movie's fine. It's okay. Here's my scale, and I'll try and do it in the frame of the camera. So up here we've got like Thor Ragnarok, okay, like the cream of the crop, and then down here we have Thor: The Dark World. It's kind of weird that they're both Thor movies, but
wow,
you know what I'm saying. The Marvels is probably about here, like a solid 7 out of 10. It's fine. It's not. It's entertaining. You're gonna have fun while you're watching it.
I think probably the MCU probably needs to go on ice for a minute.
Well, there's not anything.
Have a revival.
Yeah, there's not anything for a while. I think the next thing is Deadpool.
I heard that
at some point next year.
Deadpool was going to be like the only one next year, which is like okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Like.
There's they're doing a TV series.
Like let everybody forget about Jonathan Majors. I watched Loki season 2, and my God, was Jonathan Majors' performance as
Victor
timely. Yes,
talks.
My God,
very slow.
That performance. No, specifically that acting choice, like that delivery.
Yeah.
My God, is that horrible? And I was watching it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. I really liked the second episode of season 2, but I think that third episode where they went to Chicago, I think that it just all fell apart.
Yeah. I liked where it ended.
Yep.
I thought that was a really cool way to end things for the show.
That ending, ooh.
There's not.
But,
I mean, there's not much else that's coming out for Marvel. We've got the Echo show, which is just a 5-episode miniseries, which is a mature-rated show, and it kind of ties in with Daredevil, and it feels from the preview, it feels like the Netflix series, like the Netflix stuff.
Tom Hiddleston says that he's done with Marvel, though. You hear about that?
Probably, because what else is he going to do at this point? After the way they ended it, I mean, he's kind of stuck there. He can't really do anything. But enough of that. Enough of that.
Enough of that.
Let's. James Wan hasn't been doing anything. He's on vacation in Hong Kong right now. That's it. So there's what the hell James Wan is doing.
Hong Kong Thanksgiving.
He's on vacation. Okay. Yeah, he's on vacation in Hong Kong.
He's on the holidays.
Yeah.
On Hong Kong in Hong Kong global warming, climate change.
Yeah. So I guess we should finally. It's only been 40 minutes. I guess we should finally move on to some.
Yeah,
RiffTrax.
we talk about like the movies. Yeah.
First, let's.
Do we want to talk about Top Gun? Because we've talked about that movie at length
talk
before,
about Top Gun.
Or I have.
I don't remember how much we talked about it, but just to touch on it. Just to touch on it a little bit.
Yeah.
This riff is yet another reminder for us of how great the Just the Jokes releases can be.
Yeah, just how much like they're just like I know I say it all the time that I miss the MP3s, but like before I watched this, I'd say about 2 weeks ago, I finally watched the Dune MP3.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing. It was so great. It's just like every line was just like a winner. And then I watched this. Guys, I don't know, like Top Gun Maverick, the riff for Top Gun Maverick. For me, it's riff of the year. Like it beats Truth or Dare, it beats Rad, it beats anything. Like even like it even beats the other movie we're going to talk about, which is fantastic. But we'll get to that. But it's just like every line was just like an A. It was just every riff. I mean, like, you know, usually we focus on the movies here, like on the podcast.
Yeah.
But the riff on this was it was so sharp.
Yeah, there was a lot of great
so
stuff in it.
Funny. It was just like on fire. And I was just like, man, I don't know what can beat this. Like, you know, like unless something comes along, I don't know what else can come along and blow this out of the water, because it'll take something significant for me. But for me, right now, this is riff of the year.
There were a couple riffs in particular that stuck with me. The first one Dave and I were talking about right before we went live. They made a reference to Rad in it. When
of course you're gonna like that.
When Tom Cruise was getting ready to get into the plane to go Mach 10, they were like, "All right, let's walk this sucker." And so I laughed really hard at that. But the other one that got me, and it just kind of came out of nowhere, it was during the flashback when he was remembering what happened with Goose in the first movie, and it's when they're like floating in the water. And Bill goes, "Duck! Duck!" And then Tom Cruise says, "Goose." And then Mike says, in Minnesota, he's called Gray Duck. And Minnesota is the only state that I know of that their Duck, Duck, Goose is not Duck, Duck, Goose. It's Duck, Duck, Gray Duck.
Duck, Duck, Gray Duck.
Yeah, they say Gray Duck instead of Goose. And as far as I know, that's only in Minnesota.
It's the law.
And so I thought that one was really funny. And anybody who lives in Minnesota obviously is going to get it. And people like me who just have all this useless dumb stuff in their head. But yeah,
there is a line. There is a riff. There is a riff that is Goose related, where Tom Cruise is doing some kind of maneuver with Miles Teller, who is way too ugly to be in this movie with all these beautiful people. But they're doing something, and then I think it's Bill that says, it's like, "Okay, just hit the ejector seat." And they're like, "Oh, no, not again."
Yeah. Yeah.
I could not stop laughing.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff. The flashback to when they're in the bar and Goose is playing Great Balls of Fire. And he's just like, "Oh, my dream is that my son will grow up and wear the same clothes as me and have the same stupid mustache and play the same song in the bar."
Jennifer
and
Connelly,
I liked Top Gun Maverick. I thought that was pretty good. I mean, obviously, I'm not the only one. It made almost $1.5 billion in the box office. So.
Oh yeah. But then it was topped by Avatar 2, a movie that made $2 billion, but I don't know anybody who saw it.
Yeah, I didn't. I still haven't seen the first one, so.
Oh, you should. Well, see the RiffTrax.
I know.
I've
been meaning to.
I have it in my library.
I've been meaning to watch it. I
you can
pirate
pirate everything else. You probably have Avatar someplace.
I do. I actually own it, and it's a long movie. I just haven't made myself sit down to watch it yet. I haven't watched
Top Gun Maverick.
The Avatar. God, the Avengers Endgame riff. I haven't watched that one yet either, just because it's so long, and I
think I may have had it on when I was playing Mario Kart once. I don't know. It's been a while.
I
it was during the pandemic.
I watched and loved the Batman versus Superman riff, and I know I would really enjoy the Batman or the God. My brain is mush right now. I think it's because of this movie that we're going to talk about.
I think I think maybe the star of the Paradise Motel is having an effect on you. And we should probably start talking about that before we bring up the Val Kilmer incident. So anyway, that was our discussion of Top Gun Maverick. It's very good.
He's trying to get out of that.
It's a very good movie and very good. Yeah, I am getting out of it, sir.
I'm not going to go into it, but Top Gun Maverick did give us an entry in the True Blue lexicon, and it's called the Val Kilmer movie, and that's for things that blow up in Dave's face.
Yeah, things that blow up in my face.
If you want to know, you're going to have to dig through our episodes and find the one where we talk about Maverick. Yeah, because we don't even know what
episode that was in. I bet Josh Flowers knows.
He might.
Because that's like his favorite moment of the entire podcast.
Yeah. When we talk about other things, they're not cataloged by anything else that we talk about. They're only cataloged by what RiffTrax we talk about in them. So yeah. I have no idea which one that would be in.
It's somewhere. It was last summer 2022, somewhere in there. Go look for it. Maybe it's on Cats. I don't know.
Sorry, my puppy.
But anyway, we have to talk. We need to talk about the Paradise Motel. I know it's been.
We have to talk about Paradise Motel. This movie, or we're gonna go from one True Blue lexicon to another. This movie 100% has the Copper Mountain effect. Because
it's way more enjoyable than Copper Mountain, though.
Oh, absolutely. But this movie felt like it was just never going to end. Like
it was only an hour long.
It was an hour and 9 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Oh,
yeah.
There's a version of this movie. There's a version of this movie that I think is 90 minutes.
I think it's 80 because it's an hour and 20 minutes.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know what they could have cut out because stuff they leave in.
The only thing I can think of is actual nudity. And I say actual nudity because the main character, she takes her clothes off in one scene, and you see her from the side.
Yeah, and I'm amazed that we. Yeah.
I think she has like a pasty on or something, because it's like
does she have no nipples?
It's more than side boob, but it's thankfully. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves here.
This is not nudity you really want. This is. I won't say it's worse than Sharks of the Corn nudity, but I mean. My God, it's like no, don't do this.
This movie, I think we need to come up with a new term for this.
This movie should be a crime
because this, along with The Guy from Harlem, always felt like it was like
about
to turn into
a
about to start.
Yeah, porno, yeah.
And I mean, these are not the only two movies we've ever had this on, but. I think that needs to be like. I think we need to come up with a term for that. I don't know if we want to name it after the guy from Harlem, but it's got to be. It's got to be something.
Let's not do that to the guy from Harlem because this movie is way worse than that.
Well, let's just have it the Paradise effect or something.
Yeah. Well, no.
We'll come up with.
Let's not do that because a girl I know. Who is a very, very good professional wrestler. Her ring name is Paradise. And if we call it the Paradise effect, I will not feel good about myself. I'll feel like I'm talking about my friend Brittany. And I don't want to. No, yeah, let's not call it the Paradise effect. Because, I mean, look, I know there's 10,000% chance that my friend Brittany will never watch or listen to this podcast. However, I won't feel good about it because this movie is just that bad. We should probably let the listeners know just what in the hell we're talking about.
Yeah. So this movie was directed by the same person who made Apex Predators, and it also has a couple of the same actors, including Mel Novak. And what was Mel Novak known for, Dave? Do you know? Do you remember? What he was actually known for?
I don't know. I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna put myself out there and take the hit to my RiffTrax cred or bad movie cred. Say I don't know what Mel Novak is famous for.
Well, he was in Black Belt Jones and Game of Death. So he was in a few popular movies way back in the 70s.
They're so popular that I've never heard of them.
Never heard of Game of Death?
No. Come on, man.
That's a Bruce Lee
I grew up
movie.
watching Saturday's Warrior.
That was Bruce Lee's final movie.
I don't know what that means.
But Mel Novak was also in another RiffTrax movie.
Oh.
Aside from God, I already forgot. Apex Predator. He was in Lovely but Deadly.
Oh,
I just found that out.
Another one that's completely
earlier
left my brain.
The Lovely but Deadly was a very good.
That's the cheerleader
remember
one,
it was a
right?
very good. Yeah,
Isn't that the one where they?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one where they had like the underwear fight in the locker room?
Yeah. Oh, he was also in Future War, that they did in MST3K back in the day. So he's been in a few riff things, but his movie is
it's hard like so many of the movies that we talk about. It's so very difficult to explain.
The synopsis.
So to paint a picture of this movie is that the reason we're dancing around it is that eventually we will say unkind things about how the star of this movie appears, and her appearance and her looks and her demeanor, and we'll just say she's had a lot of plastic surgery. She looks like the bloated corpse of a Barbie doll. And
they say that she looks
dumb as a rock.
She is best described as if Weird Barbie from the Barbie movie was really weird.
It's really bad. She's in another movie called Robo Woman. She's kind of like a background actress, and she has had like experience in like super duper minor roles, but like, my God. She like these movies, and like I believe her husband is the director.
Yes, she is married to the abusive asshole in the movie, who was also the director. I love the synopsis for this movie on Amazon. It says, a battered wife on the run seeking her paradise finds that paradise isn't always. Full stop.
Always what?
That's paradise isn't always. Full stop. There's a period there. That's it.
Okay, that's not a sentence. It might end with a period, but that's not a sentence.
What the movie feels like, though. Like what? What does that mean?
All right. So the movie starts. Okay, we got to get this train on the tracks. The movie starts. The movie starts, and she's driving through town, listening to like some public domain country song. And she's driving her Kia.
White bird must fly, or she will die.
She's driving her Kia, and then we get the most unflattering. Well, there's no flattering angle to shoot this woman from.
IMDb
and
adds,
like,
nothing is as it seems after the Amazon bit. Thank you, Citizen Yarn. Yeah. Okay, that still doesn't make sense.
It shows like she picks up the first of two hitchhikers. And then they have like this inane conversation that goes nowhere until blonde lady kicks younger blonde lady. I was like, okay,
it's getting late. I'm going to stop for the day.
It's late. Get the hell out of my car. Okay, so she FOs, and we have a flashback about her husband saying, I thought I told you not to buy these things. You don't need these things. I want you to return these things to the store. And she's like, but I need these things. I need them. And then he is like, shut up, woman. And the most, like, okay, so this slap, this act of spousal abuse is, I can't describe it. Like, you have to see it. Like, he backhands her, but like there's like clearly doesn't hit her at all.
No, not even
like
close.
Like the way that like it's edited and cut, and the sound effect, the way it's shot, like the way it all comes together. It's just like it's chef's kiss of just like what just happened.
It's almost like the car crash in Replica.
Yeah, it's yeah. That's like really like it's not comparable, but it's also the perfect comparison because it's like you can't really. But it's like, RiffTrax posted a video today. If that argument went on for 10 minutes, I highly suggest everybody go to the RiffTrax.
It's so funny.
To the RiffTrax YouTube channel and watch that video of that argument. That argument that we were just talking about, where they stretched out for 10 minutes. My God. So we have that, and then we find, and like she's driving still, and like there's no indication that a day has passed.
Yeah, she's wearing the same clothes.
She picks up, and yeah, she's wearing the same clothes, and she picks up another hitchhiker. The first one was blonde. This one is
she's a brunette.
And this one's like this one's kind of, she's like, I think she's the dumb one, and she's an actress, and she recognizes old plastic face over here. And old, I don't even want to say duck lips, like okay, I guys, I'm sorry. That's I feel so bad, but it's, you guys need to look at this woman, and you'll understand.
Yeah,
but she's be like, hey, aren't you that old actress? Us beautiful folks got to stay together. This is how this woman talks.
Us beautiful people have to stick together. She says that like 8 times in this scene. I think
it's okay. So it's like a valley girl who doesn't know she's a valley girl trying to do a bad imitation of a valley girl.
Yeah, she has that really bad affectation, and then out of nowhere she's like, "Can I kiss you?" And she's like,
that was very strange.
Sure. And then she reaches over and kisses her, and then she immediately freaks out that she kissed her. Like, she's like, "What's wrong with you? Get out of my car."
I have to get out. I'm very tired. And then, like, okay, so she kicks her out. The second hitchhiker she's kicked out of her car in as many scenes.
Yes. And then is this when we get the line where she's like talking about how she's just trying to find her paradise, and then she sees the sign for the town named Paradise. I watched this movie like 4 days ago. And she's like, "Oh, look, I'm trying to find my paradise, and here's this town called Paradise. And, oh, here's the Paradise Motel." And she, like, pulls in, and then we see Mel Novak, who's reading a book about human taxidermy
with the Vitruvian Man on the cover.
Written by Norman Bates. In case nobody else noticed that little detail.
Is it a joke?
The author is Norman Bates. I believe it's a joke because then he's talking to his mother, who in this scene sounds like she's literally voiced by Alexa.
Wait. Oh, okay. But, I mean, so we have like a mummy. Oh, is that Mel Novak?
That's Mel Novak, yeah.
Okay. It's like the loosest bolo tie in the
with
history
an insane
of
amount of plastic surgery.
Yeah, it's real bad. So they have a scene. I don't remember what was said, but then we go to this bar where the two hitchhikers.
She wants a room, and they're almost full, and they only have one room right next to the manager's room. And then he winks at her in the creepiest looking wink I think we've ever seen in RiffTrax.
Didn't he say? Wasn't there something in the movie about like there was some question about whether or not she could stay at the motel and like, or something. There was something about she needed a place to stay, and like this is like that's what motels are for. And like there was some kind of argument about like what makes you think you can stay here or something. I don't know.
Well, she needed cash, and she's like digging through her purse, and she pulls out this big old knife, and he's like, what are you gonna do with that knife? And she's like, oh, this is just in case a man comes up and makes unwanted moves. And he's
I
like,
believe that's called
okay.
a threat. But anyway, let's go to the bar scene. Let's move this along. So they go to this bar that's like in like some self-storage unit that they're renting out for the shoot. And they have this guy who like
he's just
sitting on a stool,
playing an acoustic set,
unamplified, playing a set, and he's credited, but he's like, he's not particularly attractive, but he's the best looking guy in the movie, I think. Most attractive male. I mean, I don't know, how would I know? But
both of the hitchhiking girls are in there wearing the exact same
and they're
outfit.
both wearing the same dress. Yeah. And it's like, and then there's like, it cuts to human taxidermy, Mel Novak, who's sitting there with, I guess the woman is his mother, but they're like the same age, or she's younger than him.
She looks younger,
and she looks drunk or pretending to be drunk, and then like she like wavers out of it and then snaps back into like her drunkenness. It's so weird. And then we have this very strange bartender lady who like didn't know any of her lines.
She's like Romanian too.
Yeah,
she's definitely from Eastern Europe somewhere.
And then we have like this cowboy dude who for some reason wants to have sex with our main character. And I'm sorry, no.
Because she's the main character. That's why that happened. That's it.
So anyway,
she gets a beer from the bartender, and the mug is like this big, and it's filled maybe 20% of the way. It's not. And then she leaves. She goes back to the hotel. She has a full bottle of beer. And the saddest hamburger I've ever seen. It is literally like maybe an inch thick. The whole thing. It's just beef and bun, and it's like it's just squished down and flattened, and it just is pathetic. She takes one little fake bite out of it.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say, don't say she took a bite, because she did not.
She did not.
She did not. She did not take a bite into that tiny hamburger.
She didn't take a drink of the beer either. You can see it in the bottle, and it never even gets close to her mouth when she tips it back. And then she goes on to take like a 5-hour-long shower.
Yeah. That shower scene where she's like missing her nipples. I don't even know what to make of that. I really don't.
She spent like 10 minutes before that brushing her hair, which they make a joke saying that even the hair, it looks like she had plastic surgery on it. And she's like brushing it, and it's an insane. She's like pulling it in front of her face and just like going crazy on it. Just like, one spot with the brush. Like, as a long hair person, not a vagina person, but as a long hair person, I happen to know that like the ends of your hair can get rough, okay? And you do need to give it a little attention. Otherwise, it gets all natty and stuff. And that's why you use conditioner and you comb it regularly. So, I mean, I get it, but she was just like, I hate you. Yeah, she was really going to town, man. And then while she's in the shower, cowboy guy shows up trying to find her. Mel Novak chases him off from the desk with a stick.
Yeah, it's like go upstairs and do trucker's woman.
That's what he attempts to do. He finds her room somehow, and he's sitting there like trying to open the door, and he gets his hand in, and then the door gets shut on his hand.
Somebody who we presume somebody pushes him back out. We presume is plastic surgery lady.
Yeah, but
it's not.
It's the brunette.
It's brunette. She's there in like
it looks like wedding night lingerie.
Yeah, her lingerie. I came
It's
up
like
with a
wedding night
joke
lingerie. It's like white.
Yes.
Like, it would go under a wedding dress. She has this little red masquerade mask on, and she's carrying a knife.
Yeah, she's got her eyes wide shut.
And what did
stuff going?
She like, how did she get stabbed? How did she? Because the lady was still in the shower.
I don't know.
Did she just
sense. I think
stumble
it's a
and just like,
thing.
oops, like?
I think maybe it's one of the Hotel California demons. I don't know, dude. It's but I came up with a joke, and I want to run this by our audience and by you, Jeremy.
Okay.
And I think it's pretty funny, but it's just like, but if you just want to like offend a lot of people, I said, like, how come we don't
edit here, Dave? Just remember that.
Okay, well, no, but like, it's not like that, but it's just like, how come nobody call, like, I just think it would be funny, like, if like a comedian or somebody be like, how come we don't call lingerie slut pajamas? I think that's pretty good.
Okay, well, she was definitely wearing that.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I ran that joke by my sister, and she said, because not everybody who wears lingerie is a slut. And I'm like, well, okay, I suppose, but like, you're missing the point where the term slut pajamas is kind of funny to hear and say. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
One other thing I want to mention really quick, because I just remembered this fact. This movie came out last year.
Oh, yeah.
It came out in 2022. And it honestly...
And this is related to what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see another one of this actress's movies, but not like see it, but just like get like a taste for it, go to YouTube and Google Red Letter Media Robo Woman, and watch this section of the best of the worst that centers on their viewing experience of Robo Woman. And that was made, I think, in 2019 or 2017, something like that.
Yeah, most of her stuff is not.
Yeah,
very old.
It's just like, whoa.
She's been in over 200 movies, like, but I think they're all like this. This is another one of those movies where it's like, how and why did this movie get made? Like,
I don't know why this. Well,
is this another like Russian mob money laundering thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to know who wrote the screenplay, and I kind of want to know. Yeah, like you say, like why this movie exists. But anyway, so Brunette gets stabbed
somehow. We
should probably wrap the whole movie up. Brunette gets stabbed. It's revealed that her and the blonde are cousins, and I think they had like their serial killer pact, and they picked plastic surgery woman to be their victim. I don't know why they just didn't kill her in the car.
Yeah, and they end up the blonde one ends up seducing the husband.
Oh, yeah.
And killing him. There's a great riff there too, where he's laying in the bed and she comes up to him, and he's like, "So do you want to rub the Asper cream on my joints now or later, baby?"
So she stabs him. Blonde girl stabs the director.
In the name of my God.
Who's her god?
Kill you. That's what they both say.
Is
they
it
both say in the name of our God, Pazuzu.
Is it Bob Ross? Who is it? We don't know. It could be anybody. It's not canon. It could be Ben Linus from Lost. It could be, I don't know.
I like Pazuzu, but that's because I like saying Pazuzu.
I am Pazuzu from The Exorcist. Exodus 2, I am Pazuzu. The power of Christ compels you.
That's also not the most famous line from The Exorcist. What, the gargoyle thing from Futurama?
Yeah, Pazuzu, you ungrateful gargoyle. I do a terrible Farnsworth. But anyway, so they set it up like it's going to be, and then she leaves the Hotel California, and they set it up like they're like, I guess there's going to be like, she goes away in the sequel mobile.
Yeah, the blonde's like, I'm gonna find you and
take revenge. Like, revenge?
Yeah, she killed the husband, and she's like, she licks the blood off the knife and says revenge is sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very odd.
The whole movie. And there's just weird, like, flashbacks that we get. Honestly, I felt like I was watching some like bizarro Neil Breen movie. Like
if Neil Breen
like a bizarro
was
world Neil Breen.
Yeah. If gender swapped plastic surgery bimbo Neil Breen. Sorry, Twitch, that's what she is.
She's been in 11 movies this year so far.
I believe it.
Like, I'm just looking, and I'm scrolling way down, and I just found Robo Woman in 2019, and that's like way down her thing, her IMDb.
Yeah, that was just 4 years ago. Back when we started this podcast.
Her first role was Blade Runner.
I think she's like an extra.
She was an uncredited showgirl. That's weird. She was on an episode of Fantasy Island. She's in the movie My Science Project. Now I'm going to have to keep...
I think doing a deep dive...
I'm going to have to keep an eye out.
I don't know. I think doing a deep dive on this... I don't know. It kind of feels like that this woman is not all there. And it really does feel like this woman was abused. Like, not in, like, the physical way, but, like, I think... Like, abused... Maybe abused is not the right term. Maybe exploited. Because... Okay, guys, sorry. She doesn't seem like she's all there. And I feel like she's her gosh, this is so bad. I won't even say it.
All of her lines too, she says them and she sounds like she's trying to do a bad she's doing a bad Jennifer Coolidge voice. She's apparently one of the priestesses in Big Trouble in Little China. I'm sorry, I'm just now looking through her. Like, that's what I'm. I love that movie, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it again and see if I can't pick her out. Yeah, I'm looking through her IMDb. Like, she's obviously not been in a lot of good movies. I mean, she got lucky to be in. Oh man, do we have to? This is gonna be. I'm just going through our list because almost everything is horrible in this movie, and I say almost.
Oh no, because this movie has a personality, and I already know what I'm giving the personality for this movie. I know exactly what this movie gets for personality.
Honestly, though, I think some of these are going to get surprisingly high scores.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because this is, of course, again, this is our sliding RiffTrax scale.
Yeah, it's just based on the stuff that like we can remember.
Yeah, it's usually
like
we go
stuff
by
that we've watched
like the
recently.
Last, yeah, like the last
and like our
10
favorite
or so
stuff.
riffs.
Yeah.
All right, so
we can't compare this to Top Gun Maverick. This is not fair at all.
Oh man. Our first category here, and this one has to be a low score just because of how confusing this is, but the plot of this movie.
I think it's got to be 1 because I think if it weren't for, I think it could get a 2 if it weren't for the literal 5-minute undressing, combing, and shower scene, which just was the undressing,
the robing, the brushing the hair, the disrobing, and the taking the shower scene.
And taking a shower, but the shower was really long too.
Yes, it's very.
So I think it's got to lose points for that, just like it being in the middle and it not contributing anything. It wasn't like. Again, with the thing from Sharks from the Corn, it might have been different if she was younger and hotter, but she's not, and she's very specifically the person that she is. Yeah. So,
when was she? How old is she? She was born.
I think she's got to be. I think she's got to be at least 60.
She was born in 1953. So.
She is 70 years old.
Yeah. I mean, minus the plastic surgery stuff, she does look okay for a 70-year-old. I mean, she doesn't look 70, so I didn't realize she was 70. Oh my god. Okay.
Dude, I don't do that. I don't understand how that's. Oh God, I don't understand how that's a good thing.
Oh my God, she was in Samurai Cop 2 with Tommy Wiseau.
I believe it.
Okay, sorry, that just came up on her little sizzle reel she has on IMDb. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, she's playing a role that probably should have been for like somebody at least 30 years younger, if not more.
Like Clint Eastwood in Cry Macho.
Yeah.
That is a deep pull.
Whew. Okay, let's go on to our second point, the acting.
Oh God, zero. There was not a single good actor in this.
It's awful.
I think it gets a flat
considering the one
zero.
character, the one brunette killer cousin, literally said, "Us beautiful people have to stick together."
Have to stick together.
Like 15 times throughout the hour and 10 minutes of this movie.
Well, that's not her fault. I don't think that's the actress's fault, but I mean...
No, but that falls under our next category of dialogue, which is also very bad.
I think it also I think that has to get a zero, too, because the dialogue was incomprehensible.
Yep. Cinematography.
Oh, God. Why... Dude, this might get another... It's getting so many zeros. It's getting dangerous. Like, I don't consider this one of the worst riffs ever. But, like, as far as scoring goes, it's, like, down there with Cats.
Yeah, it's low.
But I think, dude, I don't think I have a choice but to give cinematography a zero.
Yep, I agree. That's bad. Same with this next one. Editing. Again, like...
Okay, that slap... I'm going to give it a 1 just because that is Chef's Kiss brilliant comedy.
Yeah.
If unintentional. So I'm going to give it a 1 just for the slap because that was so joyous. So baffling.
Was something else.
Yeah.
Effects. Okay. I have to say this
Were there any
because
effects?
there's a joke. There's a little bit. There's the joke when Brunette gets killed. And they show the stab wound, and they're like, "Oh, that's why the burger didn't have any ketchup on it. They put it all on her." And it literally was like this. It looked like ketchup on her little white wedding night lingerie stuff. Night.
They got to return that to Dr. John's. Okay. They got to wash it out and take it back.
Yeah. It's a zero. It's got to be a zero. It's got to be zero. Now this next one, I kind of want to give it a higher score, just because I actually can remember it. The sound and music. There's at least 3 songs of this movie that they use multiple times. One of them is that her favorite song that I can't believe they're playing it, even way out here in the middle of nowhere. You can't believe you're playing a
popular song on the radio.
The same song that the cousin killers were dancing to by themselves in their hotel room in their lingerie, and then of course the White Bird country song. White bird's gotta fly or else she'll die. That was almost the title of this episode. I want to give it more than a 0. I think it should be at least a 2. Which for this movie
okay, well I won't argue with you if you want to give it go that high. I mean, any higher, we might have an argument. But...
It doesn't have to be good; it just has to be memorable. At this point, and then of course the directing for this movie.
0 because man, like it might have got a 1 if he hadn't had the hot blonde chick straddle him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime,
with an ass knife.
Anytime that happens to like a director, like a director gets all hornied on by a hot chick who would not be into him at all.
At least he died happy. No, wait,
maybe.
He died horny. He died.
He died horny.
That's
right.
The joke there.
So,
all right, and then this one, which I think is going to get full marks. Character and personality.
This movie gets a 5. It has
absolutely.
to. It absolutely has to, because my God, it might be the most baffling thing since Dangerous Men.
I wasn't sure going into this movie how I I had no preconceived notions of this being as good of a riff as it was.
Oh yeah, it's good.
And
I don't think it's
like
one of the best of. Oh,
no, but it surprised me a lot. And of course, our final question: did the riffs make the movie watchable / save the movie?
oh, absolutely.
Very yes.
Yeah.
This is a very
Yeah.
yes.
No, I didn't have a bad experience watching this. Like this is not like for as low as we scored it, and for as just like just I don't know if we've been brutal in our assessment of this movie, but for as frank as we have been, this was not it wasn't like Copper Mountain or Things or anything like that. Yeah, I think like I would put this like in like the pantheon of RiffTrax. I think this is, in the upper part of the middle. I think I would put this above Winter Beast.
I think
as far
this is
as
a
that
solid.
goes.
This is a solid B tier.
Yes.
Probably towards the top of the B tier, somewhere around there.
Good boy. I'm like I think it's probably in the same as far as like where I would place it. I think I would probably put it in the same tier. Like I'd put it next to Dance and It's On in terms of just like what is like this is just insane. Like there's those are two completely kinds of movies.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh my gosh, that was odd.
I felt this is a riff that, like, I feel like if I were to watch it again, like I have to watch it alone. Like I just feel like it's something that I feel like I shouldn't be watching it, but it's just kind of weird. But it's
good. I watched it a few days ago. I watched it the day it came out, and I was just like, and I watched it, and I was just like captivated. Even it does have a Copper Mountain effect. It does feel like it takes forever to get to the end, but you're captivated the whole time too. At this, it's weird. It has a Copper Mountain effect, but I'm also just like captivated by like what is going on.
Yeah,
it's deeply uncomfortable, but you also just like can't look away.
It's very similar to Dangerous Men in that aspect.
Yeah. But the thing is, I watched Copper Mountain twice. I tried to watch this before the podcast tonight, and I was just I sent Jeremy a message like I can't watch this again because it's so apparent that this poor woman is being exploited. That it's just like, oh my gosh. But Jeremy, would you watch this movie on Rift?
Hell no.
No, I wouldn't either.
Hell no. Like, it's seriously to me in the same realm at least as Neil Breen. They actually name drop him in this movie in one of the riffs.
Well, they're actually getting bolder now and using his name more.
Yeah,
because I think they're really
Gwen, I think. Was the other one.
Because I think that we've all come to the realization like Breen's never gonna let his stuff get done by RiffTrax. No. Like I think even if they did an MP3, he'd probably throw a fit.
Probably.
Yeah. So.
Well, I don't know because then more people would be buying his movie. So
dude, trying to buy his movies have you ever tried to buy a Neil Breen movie? It's almost impossible.
Yeah. We were looking a couple years ago when one of his new ones came out. I remember we were trying to just find it just to be able to buy it.
Just find the link like on the websites. Yeah, no, it's like you have to buy like a homemade like DVD-R of he home makes these movies. Like I had to watch one of them. I can't remember which one. One of the newer ones. I actually watched. Not a joke, and I'm very ashamed of it. But I actually, I think I watched that one on Pornhub. So like that's where you can go. I'm serious. That's where I watched it. And like, dude, I don't like that website. I don't like. That's not really a thing that like I'm into, but it was a place I could watch that movie for free, so I did it. And like, you have to put it on full screen, otherwise you'll see like the sidebars of all this stuff that you don't want to see.
Yes, you have to buy the Neil Breen 5 feature film retrospective.
Oh yeah, I have heard about that where he like teaches who's saying that?
No, it's his 5. It's 5 movies. It's A 5-hour and 40-minute retrospective film by Neil Breen of his 5 indie features. Not a documentary
Yeah, but that's
of the
not
making
each of the
his
movies.
films.
Yeah. But it's like a documentary like where he teaches like filmmaking. Yeah,
Which,
I've seen.
Who wants to learn?
He's delusional, man. What can I say? But anyway, the Paradise Motel. I don't know. Like, I'm sure I'll watch this again at some point, but like, I couldn't watch it again today because just like I said, it just feels like that poor woman is just being exploited by her husband, no less.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be one to break out in a few years when we're just like, oh, yeah, I remember this. Let's watch.
I'm not going to forget this. I don't think this is something that's getting forgotten. I mean, it's like not on like the Ghost House tier, but it's. I'm not going to forget this movie. I'm not going to forget this movie exists.
Yeah, and it's interesting to know that we both currently have different ideas of what the riff of the year is. That's kind of it's
well, yeah, usually
nice
our riff of the year. Usually it's the same, or like it's the same ballpark. I know. One time it should have been, you should have chosen Suburban Sasquatch, but you went with Light Blast. But usually, I think that's probably like the outlier when we do riff of the year, is that we usually pick the same thing.
Yeah.
But right now we're kind of, not that it's bad, but we're kind of far apart on what we think riff of the year is.
Yeah. I mean, mine is definitely 100% biased by. Previous
mine
notions.
might be biased because I like that movie so much, but also, but I mean, what can you do?
Yep.
Well,
but that's going to do
we'll
it.
See. I mean, like, but what's it going to take? Like, what movie would it take, do you think? Or what kind of movie? If not a specific movie, what kind of movie do you think it would take to come in and just like, because you have to blow both Rad and Maverick out of the water?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's going to have to be something that we don't know about. Yeah. Like a movie just in general that neither of us have seen.
Like A Guy from Harlem.
Or maybe even heard of.
Or something like that.
Attack of the Super Monsters, The Visitor. Those ones that come out and they're just like, what is this movie? Like, holy crap, this is amazing. And I think it's going to have to be something like that, honestly. Maybe something really good, a really good Christmas movie or something could do it for me. But it'd have to be like Santa Claus level. Yeah, it's happened before. The last couple releases of the year have taken us by surprise. So maybe we'll get that. Maybe we'll get that this year. Who knows?
Never know.
Only time will tell. We only have another. Oh my gosh!
6 weeks.
We only have another 6 weeks until the end of the year, Dave. Whew, that's...
And then, well, I mean, hey, but guess what? There's another one coming around.
Oh, yeah. It's just interesting that I when you actually sit to think about it, it's surprising that it's that close to the end of the year, even though, like, obviously Thanksgiving is in 2 days, so...
This year's been insane, man. This year has been so nuts in my life. I could go on for, 25 minutes about how this year has been just completely bonkers for me, in good ways and in bad ways.
Yeah, and mine too.
Something I've talked about on some things I've talked about on this podcast. Some things I will not even talk to about the people who are even involved with it. But yeah.
And who knows? There might be some even better news coming down the pipe.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that.
That's all we're gonna say. There might be something really cool happening in Dave's life.
Like those that kind of thing. Now I'm just talking to Jeremy, and everybody else listening to the podcast is just gonna be like in total mysterious. Like, why won't he tell us what it is? But I think like in that business, things move kind of glacially.
Yeah.
And if it happens, then my life will definitely change. Like I've looked at what will happen if that project does get picked up by the people who are interested in it, and my life would definitely change quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just based on what I would have to do to become involved in that world. And it's just like, well, yeah.
But that's going to do it for us, guys.
Yep, that's one hell of a tease, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think everyone's probably figured it. I think everyone might have figured out, at least in the ballpark, what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, especially people who are in the Discord.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to do it for us, folks. If you guys like the podcast and you want to support us, the best way to do so is to drop us a follow on Twitch. And that way you'll know when we go live with the podcast, which is usually on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or as they used to say, 10 p.m. or 10/9 Central or 7 Pacific.
What are you, Nickelodeon?
Yes, 10/9 Central or 7 Pacific.
What is this, Nick at Night in 1989? What's My Three Sons after Looney Tunes?
Get Smart. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Yeah, good stuff. Green Acres. All that good stuff.
It's
the Many Loves of Toby Gillis. But yeah, you can drop us a follow on Twitch. You can follow us on whatever podcasting platform you get your podcasts on, because we're on everything. All the major platforms, all the minor platforms too, and there's a lot more than I knew about. So that was kind of surprising. And if you like us, you can leave us a review, or even if you don't like us, you can leave us a review on whatever podcast platform. Just let us know if you're going to do that, because we like to read them online.
We've done it once.
We did it once. It was a weird bot spam thing. Yeah. And
if you want to leave crazy reviews on my books, we'll read those too.
Oh yeah. We can talk about if you thought that the monkey was too vulgar for your mother.
I threw it in the trash. Lady, I still got your money. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's right. That's the thing is with reviews like that. Is I've seen authors they'll take screenshots of bad reviews and go to their Facebook and blah, 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 blah. To me that was that's it's the only time I've ever done anything like that, but only not because I went to complain about it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's so hilarious that
I love that kind of stuff.
That this woman is didn't research, didn't do anything into what the book was. It's a physical copy. It says the F word on the front on page 1 3 times. And she's like, "Well, I am throwing this in the trash." I'm like, "Okay,
you already paid for it.
Okay, you're throwing away your own stuff. It does not hurt me."
Yeah. You can also head to patreon.com/TrueBlueRiffCast, and if you want to toss us a couple dollars a month. We also have a free tier on there. But I upload these videos usually the night of or the next day of the podcast before I rip the audio and put them up on platforms. And, yeah, that's it. You can find me on pretty much any social media at PBandAwesome. You can follow the podcast for now on X, formerly known as Twitter.
I think that's what it's called from now on, X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, it's like when Prince was the artist formerly known as... Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, and I'm Dave. You can find me on Amazon, Audible. Buy my stuff. Son of Santa. It's Christmas season. Our great friend, Colette Thomas Flowers, narrated the audiobook. She's an amazing person. Love her to death. Love her husband to death. You guys are great. Love you guys.
Yeah. Until next time, that's going to do it for the True Blue.
Rock till you die.
Rock till you die. You die alone. Rock till you die. Rock till you die.